I have to download. Okay. Whoops. I think I just lost Jess. All right. I think I lost Jess, but this is, oh, here she comes. All right. We're waiting for a few minutes. This is Mindset Monday, and Jess is back.
I hit the wrong button by accident.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so Mindset Monday is to help us get ready for the week, and so that we can kind of clear our thoughts and be more mindful of our mission and what we are doing in our business so that we can continue in our business. I just want to rename myself because I'm not Beth. Alrighty. So today I wanted to talk about how to tame your disappointments, especially in our business. So most of our disappointments, so when you think about disappointments, it's an appointment you actually put in your thought. Like it's kind of like almost a story. And I will give you an example. When I go to a gathering, and I don't have too many gatherings, but every time I go, I set up a story about how I think the whole gathering's going to go. Like there's going to be 8 people there. They're always going to love the products. They're going to, listen. They're going to understand the mission, and everybody's going to purchase, and I'm going to get 2 consultants. It's kind of like, it's kind of a story in my head. When that doesn't occur as the story in my mind is pictured, that gives me disappointment. And I think that is something that is common to all of us. I think we're all prone to be disappointed. And Jim Rowe, and people have heard me talk about him before, because there's one statement that I really like in Eric Worre actually had him on and interviewed him. And he says we have to learn to discipline our disappointments. And the word discipline, when I looked it up, comes from the Latin word disciplina, and it means instruction or training. And it's derived from the root word, which means to learn. So the question I have for you to contemplate is, what have you learned in your disappointments? Like, what are some of the things that you have learned from disappointments, whether it's in your business, in your marriage, in your family, that have helped you to tame them when they actually come, when they actually surface? So, yeah.
Well, it's always like, as I hear from network marketers too, that are like the top network marketers, you learn from your mistakes.
Right.
So I don't really let it get my mind at that disappointment state for too long, because I think, well, I won't repeat this again. I will learn from what, how to do it better the next time. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's helpful to do personal development when you're in any business, whether you're in network marketing or, any kind of business. The book that we're reading now, for the team, it's when people have gone through business building and they're willing to share what they've learned through the disappointing parts of their business. I think that's very fruitful. And I think that we should, really take advantage of that. And especially when you're following other network marketers, or you listen to people, especially people who have been in wellness or trying to help people to change their habits.
Mhm.
If they find someone that's not on the same mindset as them, they have to choose, do I stay with these people? Do I still coach them along, or do I kind of let them go and maybe this is not the thing for me, or the thing that I want to do. And I think it's the same thing with our business, because there are some maybe consultants who just don't see the mission like you see the mission, or
Mhm.
don't want to have the training, or don't want to have the same kind of business profile that you have.
Mhm.
And that can be disappointing, if they're not on the
Yeah.
same page. So we have to learn to like tame that disappointment, say, all right, this is where they want to be. And
Mhm.
I can only help them so much. But I need to keep myself, I think, and that's where the discipline comes in. Like, you can't go into their world. You have to stay in your world, and you can't be drawn into that. And I think
Mhm.
that's, what you're saying is, when other network marketers help us and
Mhm.
share their experience, they help us not to stay in that, and like you say, in that point of being disappointed, and,
Yeah.
and trying to change things.
Yeah.
So, what in your business have you been able to turn over quickly, like make a disappointment not hold you emotionally and not kind of let you go down the I can't do this anymore, you know, rabbit hole, or am I good enough for this? Or
What has held me from doing that?
yeah, like how, like you say, because you said you don't let your disappointments, stay too long. Like
Mhm.
you learn from them. So
Yeah.
how were you able to not let your disappointments hold you there? Like, what did you do to help you to get through that? I'm gonna let Michelle in.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things, I guess. Like one that I already said, having always having the people at a higher level in your network. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because they've done it. Everybody started from the bottom. So obviously what they're doing works. So always like having them in your network and, learning from them and seeing that it can be done. So I mean, also having the passion for what you're doing,
Hmm.
that's strong enough to keep you going. And having this community here, like our coaching calls and just all
Right.
these different workshops that we do, like our own community is an empowering thing to keep us empowered to keep on going.
Right.
I forget what you call it, like a accountability partners, I guess.
Accountability.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Always having it
Yeah.
it helps. So there's a lot that's keeping me driven,
Yes. Yeah, that's
You're
true.
not in
That's
the
true.
zone. Hmm.
Right. And I don't know who said it. I probably heard other people say it, but they always say, always be in Kristen Boss would always say, when she was building her coaching business, she said, I would always try to be in a room with people who are smarter and and wiser than me. And I think that's really, really important. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's important to be on team meetings,
Hmm.
even if you're doing um, your business part-time, or even if you're fluctuating in your business, it's always good to be on the team meetings, because when we're on the team meetings, that's when, if we get disappointed in our business, or we get disappointed with ourselves, um, we're more comfortable if we continue to be on the team meetings and with the same people. Like you said, we're more comfortable when we're in a mindset community that will
Yeah.
help us to get out of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's important. I really think that's important. Um, that's that's kind of really, I mean, I didn't really have much to talk about. Um, and disappointments can actually, if we don't tame them or we don't draw attention to them, they can actually stop us from progressing. And I think you hit on that, because when you know, all right, I'm feeling disappointed. Sorry, I missed the beginning. I was in the laundry. Michelle, that's Michelle. Are you coming on, Michelle? All right. I just want to put, all right, I'll put that in. All right, sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, there's always a rabbit hole to go down. So we're talking about coming on and community. So the community helps us to like carry on and just kind of get over ourselves. All right, we talked about techniques to use. Oh, here's Michelle. And Michelle is, she's good at saying, I'm either, oh, we have to ask her, I'm either learn, I don't know, we'll have to ask her. Says that she's here. All right, we'll ask her. Let's see. Discipline, Latin word. That might be all that I have to say.
There was a quote that I wanted to find, but I came across it today and it would fit with this, but I don't know where it is.
Oh,
I was trying to find it.
and discipline, when I was looking that up, discipline is rules, following rules, you know, and you know, sometimes we have to set rules for ourselves or set borders or barriers. Like, I am not going to go down the rabbit hole of I'm not worth doing this job, or I'm not worth doing this mission. And my rabbit hole is I'm too old for this. You know, like whenever I get disappointed, like my rabbit hole that I go down that I have to learn to discipline is I'm too old for this. I don't have the energy for this. I only have, you know, my customers, you know, are, you know, on limited incomes. There's always a story that that I tell myself that really is not true. And it's the story that untrue story that really gives me the disappointment. And I think that's what we have to draw attention to, are the stories we're telling ourselves that lead us into be disappointed true. And chances are they're not, you know, especially when it comes to gatherings. I think in our minds as we're driving there, and Jen Pacelli always says that she likes to put on music, like really uplifting music. And, you know, we've learned that from, and she learned that from going personal development, you know, getting upbeat music, you know, so that your mindset is in a state of gratitude, you know, and you're happy. And that moves with you into the gathering that you're going into, like you've set the tone, so that if you have any disappointments, you're less likely to have them own you and to have them make you feel inferior or not worthy, that kind of thing. So, you know, there are tools that we can use to help us to tame our disappointments, you know, and to discipline our disappointments. And, you know, some of them are motivational quotes, you know, if we follow a motivational quote, and you're good about that. You do really good posts about gratitude and positivity. So those are really good.
Yeah, I try to do that on Monday.
Yeah, that's your Monday.
Yeah,
And
motivation.
every day you have something, right? Yeah. And that's important to have a way to come out of being disappointed. And then we also have to ask ourselves, is this disappointment, if I give into it, is it going to make me bitter or better? Right? So if I let this disappointment or the way that I'm feeling right now, it's really gonna weigh me down. And
Mhm.
if you don't want that feeling, then we have the choice to do something about it. And I think that's what's so great.
I look at it like too, because before, I mean, I used to kind of let it take the better of me and
Mhm.
dwell on it. But now it's like maybe since ever I got into this network marketing, I don't know, and listening to these motivational speakers, it's like, do I really want to use my time like that? Or will it serve me better to get out of that state, do something productive, and be happy? You
Right.
know, so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can make
That's
that
right.
choice to stay in that state, which isn't going to do you any good, or do something to, learn from it, move forward, and do something productive.
Right. Right. And I think that's what's another thing about wanting to personally develop your
Mhm.
business skills. Because when you personally develop your business skills, you actually develop your life skills,
Mhm.
because your business skills help you to deal with society and other people. And unless you're a hermit and you're not somebody that goes out into society, you need those skills,
Mhm.
because people, if they don't think the way you're thinking, you can be very disappointed with that. If somebody's not on the same plane as you are with your mindset, you can that can really bring you down a hole of disappointment. So that's important. Yeah, and actually, Dean Graziosi is really good about, and he talks about flipping this, the story. And I always liked how he um, helped me to understand that if I'm feeling like I'm being attacked by the universe, the world, or God's trying to like teach me a lesson, and like it's a really deep lesson that I have to learn. It's like, why? Like, I don't know, it's like God Almighty, Evan, and he's saying, why? Well, like, why are you throwing all this water and I have to build this ark, and
Yeah.
it's like there's always a lesson in it, and
Mhm.
but we have to really back off from the emotions of feeling disappointed to actually learn the lesson. And I think
Mhm.
that, and that's why the motivational speakers are really good and personal development is really good.
Yeah.
So what else?
Fraser always says too, like if you have to do something that you don't like doing,
Yeah,
right, and it's going to create a negative effect on you, outbalance it with two or three other positive things,
right.
So if you have to
Yes,
do that negative thing or be in contact with a negative person, or you know what I mean, say you have to go visit your mother and she's kind of like a Debbie Downer sometimes,
right. Yeah,
you
right,
know, do that, but no, after that, you're going to do these three things that are going to be positive and uplifting to you. So it's just
right,
going
right.
outbalance
Yeah, in
it.
other words, you have to set the balance
Mhm.
of how your day is going to go. No one's going to set that for you. If
Mhm.
anything, they will probably set it back because they're not on the same level or the same mindset or
Mhm.
have the same plan you have,
Yeah.
so like for me, when it comes to my business, follow-ups are difficult for me. It's difficult for me to get on the phone, but when I start doing it and I'm in a pattern of doing it, and I get over myself, like get over what my stories are in my head, then it's really not that bad.
Mhm.
It's just calling and asking a question. But
Yeah.
that takes, yeah, I
I'm
hear.
sorry, I didn't have any volume
Oh,
Oh,
microphone on my other computer, so I switched to my phone. And you were going to ask me a question.
yeah, when you hold on. My vacuum, my Eufy is going. You say there's a quote that you say, it's either a learning day or a
It's either a good day
good day,
or a growing day.
growing day. Okay, all right, right. We were talking about how to tame our disappointments. So
Mhm.
when we have either gatherings that we envision in our brain or like our mind how it's going to go, and the whole gathering just does not go how
Mm.
the vision in our mind went, um, how we need to like discipline that and not let that particular feeling or disappointment take us down the road of you're not worthy of this, it's not worth it,
Mm.
this may not be the thing for you. So that's what I was thinking about what your your motto is about it's a good day or it's a growing day. And I think that that's really helpful for
Mhm.
those listening to understand.
I
So,
had I had two gatherings that people canceled at the last minute or just didn't even show up. And then I had another gathering where only one person was coming. And I'm like, okay, I like one-to-ones.
mhm,
So, I did the foot soak with her and the thing. She became a preferred customer.
yep,
So,
yes,
and she brought, you know, the the foot soak, the um and the scrub, and then she bought the whole, face kit for the 150. And
mhm,
I was like, awesome.
yep,
So the skincare kit. But it's like it doesn't make a difference if it's just one. So
mhm,
I just keep, having them. And
yep,
I'm gonna have them while I'm sick, and they can just, or actually while I'm recovering,
right,
and they can just help
co-
themselves, and I'll just go over the flip chart. And but what frustrates me and really gets me down is when I have a power hour and nobody shows up.
okay,
And I use it to my advantage and I work, but it's just so much better when other people are working with you and um, you know, giving you insight to what they went through, and um, what
so,
their struggles were and stuff.
right.
So, or their great, what accomplishments they did. So it helps when there's more than just me on there.
Right. So when you get that kind of frustration or that disappointment, how do you go through so that you get on the next power hour? Knowing that that may happen again, how do you not let that disappointment stop you from going into the next power hour?
Sometimes I don't, and that's a big problem.
Okay.
But other times I just say, you know what? I'm just going to get to work and do my work, and, use this hour to my advantage, which
Okay.
I do. I like working in the morning, and that's why I like to do them in the morning. So I just like put my frustration to a positive thing
Good.
and just
Right.
work.
Right. Because it sounds like what I'm hearing is that when you frame it differently, when you frame the disappointment as it's not going to stop me. In other words, you're actually not having that disappointment control your next action.
Right.
Then
It's
that's
hard to
powerful.
do,
Yes.
but you're right. It's powerful and
Right.
it works.
Yes. And what it does is it helps you to move on and not be controlled by the feelings of that disappointment. And
Right.
it also helps you to grow for the next time, because the next time you get on that power hour, there may not be anybody
Right.
you may have the same scenario. So and I think what you're saying is helpful, because it what you did with the gathering too, we still have the gathering whether it's one person or 8 people, and
Right.
we don't allow the disappointments that we're feeling to guide the next action.
Right. And
That
that's,
makes
because disappointment can get you down, and it can be really a negative reaction. And so you need to respond in a way that, you know, fuels you into doing something, working. And, you know, I go into them expecting nobody to come, and I get pleasantly surprised when someone does.
Right.
So,
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's, that's how we have to move in our business, that, we just have to keep going, moving the needle. It's called like just moving the needle a little bit with that one encounter with that one PC customer has moved the needle,
right,
even though it wasn't in your story, in your mind,
right.
how you wanted it to go. Yeah. So, unless anybody, is there anything we want to talk about how to tame our disappointments or some other tools or any input? If not, I will stop the recording and
Just
can
talking to
chat.
the pros like Beth in our
What?
coaching
I'm sorry.
call. I
Yeah,
said
I
talking to
know.
our coaches.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know. Sometimes I very rarely get off of a coaching call and feel disappointed. I
Oh,
I
always,
haven't.
yeah,
Yeah.
I always feel like, all right, I can do this. As like
Mhm.
I'll go into the coaching call like there's nothing good about this week. There's just nothing good about this past week. It's like I just, what am I gonna say? One good thing. I went for a walk, or you know, or I got an order, and it's like, but by the time I leave the coaching call, I really feel encouraged. And my disappointment of going on to it has like dissipated.
yeah.
It doesn't hold any weight anymore. It's um
I think coaching is so important. And um, I I said that I'm probably not going to be on coaching on Wednesday, but I'm going to do my best to be on coaching, even though I probably haven't done a thing.
yeah,
Um, but yet I can still learn from
yes,
what the other person is going through.
right,
Mhm.
right, right. And I think we have to, when we have a down day or we have a day of disappointment, I think we have to go back to our why. Why are we doing what we're doing? What
Right,
brought us here? But I think we also have to go back to our intention. What was our intention? Was our intention to spread the message? And are we doing that in any shape or form? Or, for some of us, is our intention to make a mortgage payment or a kid's lesson, like horseback riding or tennis or whatever it is, to pay something. We have to go back to what our intention is for our business. And that can also help to disperse the disappointments when we go back to our why. Does that make any
right.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. Um, all righty. Well, I'm going to stop the recording and we can stay on for a little bit if we want, but then I have to, oh, yes.
Go ahead. Do you know what's going on with the social media things?
Oh, yeah, let me stop the recording.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I do that? Oh, stop.